The mind is the primary muscle that, when strengthened, can lead to greater wealth and appeal. Yet conventional methods for cultivating intellect are often tedious and complex. Thus, I have gathered for you 7 simple but potent exercises to train the brain, each proven to be effective. Every exercise targets a specific faculty, and together they forge you into a veritable neuro-titan. At the conclusion, I shall reveal a secret 8th exercise that will utterly shatter the limits of your perception. After this first practice, individuals report a sensation of being able to slow the passage of time. I speak in earnest. Research from the 1980s demonstrated that regular engagement in this exercise induces a feeling as though time itself flows more slowly. Furthermore, it markedly enhances cognitive functions, attention, memory, and concentration. This practice is known as reverse reading. It coaxes your brain from its habitual comfort zone, activating novel neural pathways and deeper regions of consciousness responsible for the perception of time and space. To perform it, select a brief text. A sentence from a book or news article will suffice. Begin by reading the words in reverse order, from end to beginning. As confidence grows, progress to reading the text letter by letter backwards. While seemingly arduous, herein lies its benefit. The brain learns to adapt to unfamiliar tasks, thereby enhancing mental flexibility. Dedicate but 2 to 3 minutes daily, and you will soon perceive a shift in your awareness and cerebral function. To notice what others overlook, the next technique will be your guide. Even special forces operatives and financial magnates of Wall Street train with these tools. It may sound strange, yet it is true. The exercise is called Schulte Tables, and it hones peripheral vision, speed of information processing, and concentration under duress. When you work with a Schulte table, your mind learns to perceive not only what lies directly before your eyes, but also what exists at the edges of your visual field. This is critically important in any endeavor where fractions of a second determine the outcome. Moreover, these tables cultivate selective attention, the ability to swiftly locate the essential within a torrent of superfluous data. This is the skill that distinguishes genius from the commonplace. Additionally, both cerebral hemispheres are engaged. The left interprets structure and sequence, while the right manages visual perception and coordination. The Schulte table appears simple, a grid of numbers from 1 to 25 scattered randomly. Your task is to locate and sequentially indicate all numbers in the minimal time possible. At first glance, it resembles a schoolbook assignment, yet in reality, it is a powerful instrument employed by Special Forces soldiers, air traffic controllers, and even Wall Street traders. Why? Because it trains a professional's paramount weapon: attention. After merely 7 days of consistent practice for 2 to 3 minutes, you will notice reading becomes easier, focusing requires less effort, and information is assimilated more rapidly. These 2 exercises alone can significantly enhance your mind's capacity, yet they pale before the final practice, which shall transform you into something approaching a superhuman. But first, let us heed science, for researchers have proven that a mere 20 seconds of this next exercise enables the brain to function like that of a meditating monk. It is called the Mandelbrot effect, and its appearance is that of a mesmerizing visual hypnosis. Superficially, it is merely beautiful animation, but the brain interprets it differently. Unlike ordinary images, fractals are constructed upon mathematical formulas that repeat infinitely. It is precisely this self-similar structure that triggers a unique reaction within the brain. It is akin to meditation, yet without closed eyes or the lotus position. What occurs when you gaze upon a fractal, such as the infinite zoom of a Mandelbrot pattern? Your alpha waves activate. The brain enters a state of defocused concentration, as in deep meditation. Activity in the amygdala, associated with anxiety, is inhibited. Activity increases in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for creativity and mindfulness. Essentially, it is a visual key that unlocks a calm yet profoundly productive mode of cerebral operation. Just 20 to 30 seconds and you will feel the shift. To practice the Mandelbrot effect, open a fractal video, readily found, and gaze upon it for 1 to 2 minutes, allowing your sight to dissolve into the patterns. Do not analyze. Merely observe. This is the key. Employ this exercise before an important task, after a taxing day, or when experiencing mental fog. This method is already used by neuropsychologists and individuals facing cognitive overload, from programmers to screenwriters. All you require is a screen and a modicum of attention. This exercise is performed with ease, much like the favored practice of those with an IQ of 150, known as the Stroop Effect. It may sound unexpected, but this simple visual trick helps geniuses maintain their mental tone. It does not merely demand attention. It dismantles habitual thinking and teaches the brain to operate consciously, not on autopilot. You see the word blue written in red ink. The task is to name the color, not read the word. It seems a childish challenge, yet the mind begins to falter. Why? Because you conflict with its automatic behavior. It is accustomed to reading without conscious thought. This is the classic Stroop Effect, an exercise that forces the brain from its comfort zone, compelling it to relearn how to filter irrelevant information and maintain focus on the essence. This is the very flexibility and mindfulness daily trained by those operating at the limits of capacity: scientists, strategists, analysts. When you attempt to ignore the text and concentrate solely on the color, the brain recruits the frontal lobes, responsible for self-control, attentional switching, and resistance to impulses. These are the very zones active in individuals with high intellect and emotional resilience. Regular practice of 2 to 3 minutes fosters concentration, cognitive flexibility, and control. It is a favorite among those seeking to develop mental fortitude and the capacity to think clearly where others become confused. These exercises are a warm-up for your neurons. But what if I told you there exists a practice that acts as a marathon for your brain? It is called writing with your non-dominant hand. A simple yet profoundly effective exercise, it compels the brain to function in novel ways. Our brain resembles a muscle. To grow stronger and quicker, it requires new challenges. When we perform habitual actions, the brain operates on autopilot, utilizing well-worn neural pathways. But introduce something unfamiliar, and it switches to an active search mode, sifting through hundreds of potential routes between cells to accomplish the task. Writing with your non-dominant hand is precisely such a challenge. You force the brain from its comfort zone, forging new connections and enhancing your cognitive flexibility. To perform it, select a short phrase or a few words, your name or a favorite quote. Take the pen in the hand you do not use for writing. Slowly and deliberately, write the chosen text, striving to form each character clearly. Do not seek beauty. The goal is to present the brain with a novel task, not to achieve perfect penmanship. After writing, analyze which letters were most difficult, how long it took, and repeat daily for 3 to 5 minutes, noting your progress. In time, your movements will grow more assured, the letters clearer, and your capacity for concentration and solving non-standard problems will markedly increase. Regular practice develops fine motor skills, improves coordination, activates both hemispheres, and enhances creativity. Writing with the weaker hand does not merely train the hand, it literally reboots the brain, initiating new neural pathways and rendering you more attentive and flexible in thought. It is no wonder many exceptional individuals actively employed such methods for cerebral development. For instance, the next exercise was utilized by Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and Steve Jobs. individuals who changed the world and understood the critical importance of mental speed and precision. The exercise is called touch typing. Today, the ability to type quickly and accurately without constantly looking at the screen is not merely a skill, but a genuine workout for the brain. When you type blindly on a phone, the brain activates motor memory, the capacity to remember and reproduce movements without visual control. This significantly accelerates reaction times and improves hand-eye coordination. Furthermore, such typing develops sensory coordination, the ability to feel the keys and navigate by touch, which reduces cognitive load and allows you to focus on the message's substance rather than its mechanics. To begin, simply try writing ordinary messages or notes without looking at the keyboard. It may be challenging initially, but after a few days of consistent practice, you will notice your fingers finding the correct keys autonomously and your mind working faster. Dedicate 5 to 10 minutes daily, and soon you will feel yourself typing more swiftly, confidently, and with greater focus. If you wish to advance further, incorporate the next exercise. It sounds simple but yields a powerful effect within days. You will notice your thoughts becoming clearer after just 3 days of this simple practice called asynchronous hand movements. It sounds like magic, but it is pure neurophysiology. When you command your hands to perform different actions, you are essentially reprogramming the brain, enhancing the interaction between its hemispheres. The effect is immediate. The exercise appears almost foolish. With your right hand, show the OK gesture. With your left, the peace sign. Then switch simultaneously. The right makes the peace sign, the left OK. Repeat this again and again. Within seconds, you will find your hands seem to possess a will of their own and refuse to obey. What is happening? Your motor system encounters, for the first time, the task of independent control, where each hand demands a separate signal from different hemispheres. The brain is mildly shocked, for until now you have lived on autopilot, swinging your arms in synchrony. But here is what is important. Regular practice of such asynchronous movements activates the bridge between the hemispheres, the corpus callosum. By the 3rd day, you will notice thoughts arriving with greater clarity. You select words more swiftly and even become slightly more composed in daily affairs. If you need to quickly tune your brain, 2 minutes daily of these peculiar finger movements work wonders. And now, the very secret 8th exercise. It is a mental detonation. At first, you are simply thinking, but within a minute, you begin to reason like an architect of reality. You are not merely training your brain, you are initiating within it a new system of thought, deep, non-linear, strategic. Afterward, you can no longer perceive tasks in the old way. You begin to see not only solutions, but the very systems that generate them. This is the level of visionaries, startup founders, screenwriters, and strategists, those who see further than one step ahead. What is the essence of the exercise? You take any thought, idea, or situation and pose 5 sequential what-if questions to it. Each time, probe deeper, broader, more unexpectedly. Consider an example. What if I began waking at 5 a.m.? What if the early morning hours are the most productive of the day? What if I restructured my entire workday around these hours? What if, as a result, I could accomplish twice as much in a year? What if my entire life reconfigured itself to this new tempo? And thus, you have not merely decided to wake early, you have begun to reconstruct your reality. How to use this exercise? Take a thought or problem, pose the first what if. Based on the answer, pose the next. Continue thus 5 times. Record the final result. Often it yields an unexpected insight. Practice this for 5 minutes daily, and you will transcend patterned thinking. This exercise does not merely develop the brain, it alters the very mode of perceiving the world. By the way, what time is it? It is time to train your mind, and to do so with profound satisfaction.